Your answers to these questions may reveal how your mind actually works.
Section 1. The illusion of perception. Are you actually seeing what is right in front of you? Think about that famous Harvard study where people were asked to count basketball passes in a video. Half of the observers, literally half, completely missed a person in a full gorilla suit walking right through the center of the screen, beating their chest. They completely missed it.
And this brilliantly illustrates a rather dark truth. Your perception doesn't just record, it reconstructs. You aren't watching some high-definition live video feed of reality. What you are actually experiencing is a mental sketch, and it is absolutely filled with blind spots.
We call this change blindness. See, human attention isn't a massive floodlight. It's more like a tiny little flashlight in a pitch-black forest. You only truly perceive the exact patch you happen to be focusing on. A cut in a movie, a quick blink, a slight shift in your gaze, your brain just quickly patches over those gaps, leaving you entirely oblivious to major changes happening right in front of your face.
Section 2. The price of choice.
Okay, quick answer. This split-second choice. You've sat through 7 episodes of a totally terrible show. Do you just push through and finish it? Well, if you said yes, your brain actually just trapped you in a completely irrational mental loop. The psychology behind that specific trap is known as the sunk cost fallacy. You're continuing a miserable experience simply because you've already invested your time or your effort. But logically speaking, those costs are already gone. They're totally unrecoverable. The smartest psychological move isn't to cross the finish line, it's to cut your losses immediately.
Now consider this little pricing trap. Which option instinctively feels like a better deal to you? 2 for $2 or $1 each?
Look, our brains absolutely love a bargain, even when it's entirely imaginary. This is the framing effect. Retailers know that by simply reframing the exact same information, your daily choices can be effortlessly manipulated. The math is identical, but your perception is completely altered.
Section 3. The fear instinct.
Confront this for a second. Why does flying feel so much scarier to us than driving? Why do super rare, dramatic events like plane crashes or shark attacks terrify us, while the extremely mundane but highly statistically dangerous act of driving a car feels entirely safe?
Well, here is the stark reality. Emotion beats math literally every single time. Our minds inherently prioritize intense, dramatic memories over actual data.
This mental shortcut is called the availability heuristic. Because sensational, dramatic news stories are so incredibly easy to pull up in our memory, we vastly overestimate our own personal risk. If a memory is easy to recall, your brain falsely labels it as highly probable. We judge the likelihood of something happening by the ease of recall, not by reality.
Section 4. The ego trap. Pause for a moment and evaluate your own recent habits. When you win a game, do you instinctively chalk it up to your pure talent? But when you fail or lag out, is it suddenly the Wi-Fi's fault?
If that sounds familiar, your brain is essentially running a secret PR campaign on your behalf.
This is the self-serving bias. It's your brain's absolute favorite strategy, taking full credit for all your success while quietly deflecting the blame onto outside forces for any of your failures. It lies to you just to protect your fragile ego from the truth. But remember, while this trick protects your self-esteem today, it completely blinds you to your flaws and stops your actual growth dead in its tracks.
Section 5. The final test.
Imagine a famous Stanford University wine study. You're given a glass of $100 wine and a glass of $10 wine. And get this, brain scans show the expensive wine actually triggers far more pleasure. But what if it's the exact same wine? Is the expensive wine actually tasting better, or is the brain just tricking itself into extracting more pleasure based purely on its own expectations?
The scientific reality here is pretty shocking. Research shows that only about 5 to 10% of our decision-making is actually rational.
You are largely driven by invisible emotional forces. Despite our deep obsession with logic, and despite thinking we rationally weigh the pros and cons of everything, it is deep-seated emotion that actually provides the conviction and the confidence to make our choices.
The most dangerous thing about the human mind is how easily it believes it sees reality clearly.